Hey friends, Allison here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you a 12 by 12 scrapbook layout that is mixed media. I am adding watercolor mixed media to the background of my layout base. It will not be matted this time to another sheet of cardstock, so it's framed. I'm just leaving it white and I'm running with it. There is gesso on the white cardstock just to protect the paper from the mixed media that I'm adding. And I'm adding mixed media in Close to My Heart Pebble ink, Tim Holtz Distress inks in Smoked Hickory, or Hickory Smoke, Prize Ribbon, and Close to My Heart Saffron. And then once that is dry, I'm actually going to take some stencils that I have created myself using my Cricut, and also some die cuts that are paper that can also act as stencils to add some pattern to the background as well, and just to add an additional layer of mixed media. They will be in light colors. Oh, and actually before I do that, I add some splatter as well to the tops and bottoms of each of those columns of mixed media. While that is drying, I am ink blending with Hickory Smoke on this tag that I die cut with my Cricut. I cut it 4 times from 4 different pattern papers, but 5 papers in total, because the middle one is just going to be plain white. That's where my title is going to be located. I will be stamping it. I'll probably be doing that next, I think, if my memory serves me correctly. And right now I'm just trying to figure out the spacing. They are going to overlap just a little bit because I want them to sit sort of in the center of the layout. I don't want them to touch each of the edges. Here are the stencils. I'm just showing you. There is a snowflake one, spider web. These are the scrap papers that was left over from my tags. There is also a raindrop stencil. I'm bouncing all over the place, I'm sorry. And then also a honeycomb one. So all 4 of those stencils I'll be using on this layout. Like I said, here is the title. I'm just working on that right now. I'm using a Close to My Heart stamp set that I've had in my stash for a while. It is from the I Heart Us range, which is retired, and so unfortunately this stamp set is retired as well. I stamped the main part of the title in Close to My Heart Pebble ink. It is very light. So in my close-ups at the end of the video, it will be hard to see. It's just barely there, but it is there. And then the subtitle is going to be stamped in Close to My Heart pewter ink, and I'm going to fussy cut that out from a separate piece of white cardstock. I believe I've done that already. And it's going to be adhered at the bottom of the title with some foam squares. So I'm just adding the foam squares right now. And once that is done, I can set it off to the side and move on with the rest of my mixed media. I sort of feel like my mixed media is, not the mixed media, but the stenciling is a little bit sloppy, especially more towards the right edge, the right edge of the layout. I don't use stencils very often, which is something I should probably rectify because I like using them. But I always manage to ink blend off the edge of my stencil. I should maybe have some, like a mat or some scrap piece of paper to cover the edge, but you can really see it when I did the raindrop. There are some blue smudges at the top that don't belong there, but they are there. And in the end, I'm just going to ignore it. There's nothing that I can do to fix it. I could cover it up if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna, because it's not a part of my plan or design. And in the end, it's just one of those things that I can just look past, and it's not going to make or break my layout. So I still love the end result, and I hope you love it as much as I do. So right now I have dove into my healthy stash of ribbon. I never, ever, ever use my ribbons in my crafting, just like I never, never, never use tags in my crafting. And the reason I chose tags was because I have my white and yellow scrap drawer was overflowing. And so the other day I went through it, pulled out all the little pieces of paper, like ones that are smaller than 3 by 4 or narrower than 2 by 2 inches wide, we'll say. The length doesn't really matter. Anything small, I pulled out, and I'm actually going to keep them aside. I'm going to keep them out of my bin, and I'm actually toying with punching holes in the top of them and adding them to an O-ring so I can keep them separate and pull them as I need to for things like this. I'm trying to think of other layout designs that will utilize those small pieces of pattern papers to get them used up. In a little bit here, I do actually show you the stack of white bits of paper that I had that I pulled out of my bin, because I end up using some of that to map my 2 by 2 inch photos so they pop off of the tags that they are living on. I have wanted to create a design using tags for a really long time, but honestly, nothing came together until just now, and I'm so happy with this design. And then of course, if you have tags in your layout, you have to add either twine or ribbon. I had ribbon in all the colors that I was looking for. Here's the pile of paper that I mentioned a moment ago. What do you think? Is that a good idea or not so much? The reason I'm adding holes to them, like hole punching them and then adding them to an O-ring, is because I don't have binder clips that are big enough to hold all of that paper. And so the next best thing was to use an O-ring. So that's why I'm using an O-ring. And I have a ton of them, so why not get them used up? This video is full of bunny trails today. I'm so sorry. So now I have just added the date. I used Close to My Heart pewter ink to add the date as well. And just below the date is going to be my journaling. And it's just a few lines. I added lines directly to the layout base. I did toy with stamping my journaling on this layout. I'm glad I opted against it because the journaling ended up being a little bit longer than I had originally anticipated, which is fine. I also thought about making strips and then gluing them to my layout as well. But once again, I think adding it directly to the layout base was the right call. Now it's time to embellish. So I pulled out stickers from my stash. Once again, I'm working with Fall Market. This is an Echo Park / Cartabella collection. I'm not sure which it is. I think it's Echo Park. I'm also pulling some chipboard flair from Ellie's Studio, some puffy stickers from Cocoa Vanilla Sunkissed, and then I also use Pinkfresh Studio. I think this is from My Favorite Story, puffy sticker as well. I actually go back to the Ellie's Studio chipboard pack and pull out the blue heart and then layer my phrase with it. The phrase on that little puffy sticker actually says, I think, in full bloom, which I thought was perfect for summer. Oh, I never mentioned this layout is about everything that I love about each of the seasons. There isn't one particular thing that I love of each season, and I don't have a favorite season. I love them all. And that is what this layout is about. I have close-ups coming up. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope this layout has inspired you, or I hope that this video was enjoyable to you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and a like. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. If you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider doing that if you enjoy Cricut projects and mixed media projects. I'll be back again soon with more creative inspiration. Bye guys.